Is he coming in?
I don't know. Yeah, he should be.
I'll give you this, not because I'm afraid of water spilling,
No
but
problem.
because these bottles are so flimsy that they don't stand up by themselves on carpet.
Okay.
That's for him if he comes in. But here's what I want to tell you. And I was really trying to get this across to your dad, but it's very difficult because they keep interrupting the call. They keep saying blah, 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 blah. Why they have to do that, I don't understand. I accepted the call in the beginning. Why they have to remind me that I'm talking to somebody from prison is beyond me, but it eats up our time and it interrupts the conversation. You heard of people speaking stuff into existence?
Yes.
Okay. In the Bible, the first book, the first chapter, the first page, God said, let there be light. Who was he talking to? He wasn't talking to anybody. He was creating. Words are creative. So is visualization. And I told William, I said, you have to visualize what's going to happen. You have to think about how things are going to be when you come out. I said, you have to have a place to live. You need somebody to help you get around. I can't drive anymore. It's a blessing I could drive at all. But I said, where are you going to live? What's going to be your source of income? How long is it going to take you to get Medicare and come up to, the place where, it can be taken care of? And I said, you have to make these plans. I said, the other thing is, I said, maybe if you do what God wants, maybe God will do what you want. I don't know. I have nothing to do with that. It's not my decision. Also, I said that he should. I think it has to do with. I want to say COVID, but it's not true because he was like this before COVID. He's angry, and he has every right to be angry. He really does. But I don't want him to dwell on the anger. I want him to witness. In the beginning, he was preaching to people and evangelizing to people, and I was sending him stuff for the church at the other place he was.
What other place?
In Somerset, the first prison he was. He's not in Somerset.
Right.
He's in Laurel Hollins now.
Mm-hmm.
Which baffles me because they're both 4 hours away. I guess I've never looked at him on a map. But anyway, where he's at now is where they send prisoners to get medical attention. He's not getting the attention he needs. And I kind of want to start there because I don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? They bought your dad a chair. It was a recliner, right? The recliner is one of them ones where you hit the thing on the side and it lifts up the whole feet. So it kind of pushes you up. The seat itself lifts up and pushes you up, so it helps people who can't stand on their own to get up. Once they get up, they can walk, but they just can't get up. And they cost like, I don't know, maybe $1,000. Back when my mother needed one, they were like $700. So I would guess they're probably about $1,000 now. The prison ordered that for him, and somebody stole it. Do you think an inmate stole it? I don't.
Where they gonna put it?
Exactly. So you got corrupt officials that are interfering with whatever little attention he's getting to take care of himself. Okay? Then KRISSY just broke my heart too because A lady called me from the prison, some social worker or something. Oh no, she sent a letter. I opened the letter. It wasn't from your dad, it was from the prison. And they said that Mr. Pierce wanted you to witness or wanted you to agree that this is, he wants to sign a DNR, which is the order to do not resuscitate if he goes. If something happens to him, he don't want them to wake him back up and bring him back to life. Thank you. And I called the lady on the phone. I said, first of all, I said, I'm not agreeing to this. I'm not signing this until I talk to him. And she said, oh, well, let me get you through to a social worker. And I said, did you give me the original one back? Okay, that's the original one. Where did I both? Okay, I said I wasn't going to sign it until I could talk to him. And she said, let me put you to a social worker. So she put me through to that office, and the guy never answered the phone. So she came back on the line. She said, I think he's on the ward or the block, whatever that is, wherever they gather. And so she got the social worker on the phone, and he went and got William, and then they were both on the phone. I didn't know they were both on the phone. I thought it was just your dad. I said, hey, if I knew it was this easy to talk to you, I said, I'd have called you a long time ago. And, you know, I was joking. And then I started to tell him about how my mother, who survived breast cancer, to die of Alzheimer's, how one day when we took her, we thought we had left her in the care of teenagers, and they accidentally overdosed her. But we weren't sure, and we weren't sure what medicine it was. So one of my sister's friends is a nurse, and she said, take her to the emergency room. And so we did. They hydrated her and took away all her medicine. She got so much better. She was being over-medicated, and she would barely drink and eat. So she was losing all kind of weight. But anyway, I said, my mother was on a respirator for a day and a half, and then she went back to normal. They took that respirator out because they called us to come down. You know, we were up here working, and she called us. They lived in Lower Delaware. So after like 3 days, my mom was fine. She could come home. And I told him, I said, don't throw your life away when it could only be a day or two that you're sick. I said, that literally happened to my mother. Because we didn't even go right away. My daughter said, I don't want to go. You ever meet my daughter? They're my kids right there.
Mm-hmm.
I said if we'd have chose not to respirate her, she would have died. And all she needed was another day and a half, and she was fine. He said, if the Lord wants to come and get me, I'm not saying no. I'm not trying to stay here. I'm not trying to stay in this place, not one day longer. I mean, your dad loved life. He really did. He fished, he hunted, he was outside all the time. You know what I mean? I just don't understand how this could happen. I was thinking about Spike this morning. I was thinking about paying him a visit, but I can't tell you that on tape.
You gotta tell me everything.
I'll tell you later when you shut that thing off.
I
have a conversation for him. But
you gotta be honest and open. You got to.
KRISSY, I think I didn't help him when I was on the stand. The first time I was called to testify, the second time I volunteered to testify, the lawyer wouldn't even he wouldn't even talk to me. He wouldn't listen to me, he wouldn't talk to me. This was what they call, one of his appeals was called ineffective counsel. In other words, his counsel wasn't effective in handling his case. And I truly believe that. But I had to get up and go stand in front of the judge and say, "Can I be heard?" And he said, "What do you want to be heard about?" I said, "This, and this." I think I only said one thing, and he said, "Okay." And then he had a little powwow with the lawyers, turn on that sound machine. They talked and they said, "Okay." And he said, "Go ahead, tell what you want to tell." And I told him how William was outside that house door when the fire first caught, and he went back. He went back in and tried to get her out, and he couldn't. And the second time, he went back in a second time, and he came back out because he couldn't. And the lady across the street, B.B. Bannister's wife, I forget her name, her first name. They have a beautiful house diagonal from where,
Yes, I'm better.
yeah, she was there. She ran home to get him orange juice or lemonade. She said his sugar dropped. She said he was about to pass out, so I went and got him some juice. And they didn't even talk to her. They said, if you want to go talk to her, ask if she's willing to talk to us or testify. She was an eyewitness. She was an eyewitness that your dad tried 2 times to go back and get that girl. And to tell you the truth, if he'd have known where she was, you've been in that house lots of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was found right by the bathroom door. The bathroom door that also had an outside bathroom door. He could have went through the outside, got her out. He didn't know where she was. And you certainly can't see in the middle of a fire. How are you gonna see? But he tried 2 times to save her life and go in there and get her. And he said he just couldn't do it. He couldn't breathe. Like firemen, they have equipment that they can breathe. But I told him, I said, "William, if you want to come out, you have to start visualizing. See where you're going to live. What are you going to do? Disability or VA pension? Like, what's your money going to be? How are you going to get around?" I said, "You have to plan all these things out because you're going to be faced with all this the day they let you out." I said, "I want you to think about this and I want you to imagine it and I want you to dwell on it and speak truth over it. Words are creative." I said, you can't just sit in the cell and complain and say, "Injustice, injustice, let me out," and then have no plan. I mean, your dad, he was pretty smart. I mean, he's really intelligent. And the thing that always fascinated me the most about your dad is that you couldn't pay him to hold a grudge. That dude, where did he live? He lived in a section that wasn't too good. I can't remember the street. It was like 3rd or 4th, and it was not a good cross street. Me and Jessica's father wanted to move there one time, and a friend of mine lived down there. She said, "Don't come here." He said, Don't bring her here. Not that white girl. No, don't come here." So, and this was back in, oh my God, this was back in the 70s. I'll think of it in a little bit. But some guy lived down there, and your dad signed for him to get a car. He was his co-signer, and he didn't pay the car note, and they came and got the car. So, meanwhile, I'm dealing with the bills that he's getting and stuff, and I asked him about it. He said, "Go down there and ask him if he'll pay this note." And I went down there. I took Butch with me because I didn't know if it was really a bad area or not, so I had him come with me. And I said, "We want to know if you'll pay this." And he was like, "Hell no, I ain't paying it. I don't even have the car." They took the car. But if you paid it, you'd have the car. But they were coming after your dad for the money. Because he co-signed. So anyway, that's what I want him to do. I want him to dwell on what he's going to do, how he's going to, like, If he can't walk, he needs to live in a single bedroom house. Now, I'm almost at that point now.
We all have to face where we live in, and I understand that. I'm trying to understand, why is he in prison?
Because the cops wanted him to be. They chose him. They chose him to be the guilty party. When they didn't have to choose at all, it was an accident.
But why would they do that?
Because they're Upper Chichester. Aston. 19014. That's why.
Go into more detail for me. Explain it to me.
They're racist. They're just racist people. Let me tell you, I don't go to Aston unless I absolutely have to. I go to Brookhaven rather than around the corner to Aston. I drove my car. I had a busted windshield. Now, how often does your car have to be inspected?
Annually.
Anyway, when I got the windshield replaced, they cut out the stickers in the window, from the old windshield, and they put some duct tape around it, and I stuck it up on the windshield right on the driver's side so it would be where it belonged.
Mm-hmm.
And never got stopped. Butch drove my car through Aston with Kenny, my friend Kenny, who's also black and male. They got stopped. And they were getting ready to, they couldn't really do nothing about it because it was inspected, but they told him, well, you can't drive around like that. I mean, I'd been driving around, I think, for 2 years like that. Butch, how often does our car have to be inspected? Huh? Once a year, okay. So he said once a year.
But why would the cops want to target my dad?
Okay. I can't even begin to tell you all that. There's so much to it.
I need you to tell it now, or we may not have much time.
It's about police, their numbers, solving a crime, looking good for the community. The police want to be on a pedestal. They want to be, oh, we solved this crime. Well, yeah, but you put the wrong man in jail. I just watched on C-SPAN today a guy who.
So who was the one who?
Your dad said it was Easton. He was a black detective, I think. Now here's the issue. Here's the whole issue right here. The fire was Friday night. Friday night was Halloween. 97. I was working 1 to midnight in King of Prussia.
How you doing?
Which Troy, this is KRISSY. This is William's youngest daughter.
I remember him from a long time ago.
When he was this high.
No,
he was asleep in the back seat back in 97. He was 3 years old.
William, your friend? Your friend William?
Mm-hmm. Wow. He was that Saturday. The fire was Friday night. Saturday morning, I took him to the police station. Troy was asleep in the back seat. He was 3 years old.
Okay.
3.5. We were sleeping. It was raining. So I never got out of the car, but I said to him, if you go in there and you don't come back in half an hour, I said, I'm coming in, baby, and all wet. I don't care. I'm coming back in there if you don't come out in half an hour. So I think he came back like 20 minutes or something.
And when was this? That you're saying that he was going in? Where was he going in, and what was he?
Okay, I took him to the Aston police station. The fire was Friday night on Halloween, 97. I can't think of the date. Anyway, this was Saturday morning. Like I said, I was working second shift. When I came home, I was flipping through the channels. And, Channel 6 runs their news at like 2 in the morning. So I'm flipping the channels and I see a woman died in the house fire. And they showed your aunt's house. I want to call her Lucy, but he called her Dorothy, right?
Right.
Aunt Dorothy, I see Aunt Dorothy's house. First of all, it was man made. Her husband built it from scratch, from the ground up. He built it single handedly, and it's very unique. There's no other house that looks like that. And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying a woman died in the fire, and I'm saying, what woman? There's nobody even lives there. Like, what are they talking about? So I, of course, couldn't call your grandmom's house on Fifth Street at 2 in the morning. So 8 in the morning or 8:30, I woke up. I called your dad and I said, William, what happened? He said, I don't want to talk about it. I said, and you never have to talk about it again after you tell me what happened. So he told me, and he said, they took my truck. I need to get my truck back. I need to be able to get around. So I was pretty much driving around that whole day. But we went to the police station first. And the police station said, the coroner says she died of smoke inhalation. And we haven't processed the truck yet. So we'll call you when it's done. But it's not going to be done in the rain. We're just going to have to wait till a clear day. And then, a day or so to do it. And he came back out and got in the car with me. And I believe that's the way it truly should have been. That's actually what did happen until somebody got the bright idea that he did it on purpose.
And who came up with this bright idea?
Because they're just corrupt. KRISSY, they're just corrupt. They wanna say that they caught this heinous murderer, blah blah blah. First of all, your dad was bipolar. I've never ever seen your dad act crazy, ever. And I've known him I've known him since the 70s. But he took his medicine. And he was fine. And he was doing things for people. He was always doing something for other people. He was cutting their grass. He brought over some kind of tiller over here, broke up my ground so I could put some plants in the ground. And I was kind of mad at him because I said, you know about these old country things. You know that the pump needs to be primed. You know how the wood stove works. I said, if it's not vented properly, it's not going to, stuff in it's not going to burn. I said, you know that. What the hell's wrong with you? And here's what he told me. He knew. He said, first of all, he was thinking with the wrong head. So he was really trying to make her warm and comfortable. Okay? That's your dad. Your dad loves women. Loves women. All women. So, he kept some, he did lawns for people. He cut grass. He'd do trees, pruning, cutting grass, whatever. But he had, on his truck, he had gardening or landscaping equipment. And in a bottle in the truck, they found what looked to them, I guess, I would think it would be like gasoline. I think they were trying to say he did it on purpose because of that. But when I got on the stand, I told him that there was a mixture on the truck of oil mixed with gasoline, and he used it to clean the mowers. Because if you let build up on the mower, it'll catch on fire. You have to clean that stuff off the mower. My girlfriend has a tractor that she uses on her property because her property is like 22 acres, but they have to clean that thing off every day or it'll catch on fire. And your dad used this mixture of gasoline and oil to clean the mowers.
Mm-hmm.
So when the fire wouldn't stay lit in the wood stove, because he was thinking with the wrong head, he went outside, got that stuff.
What you mean by that?
Thinking with the wrong head?
Yes.
Thinking with this head.
Gotcha.
Your dad
Mm-hmm.
knows. To this day, he still professes love for me. I love him dearly too, but it just wasn't. I he was never going to be faithful.
Okay.
I really wanted to say that to your mom so many times. He's just not the type.
Okay.
But he would never hurt anybody. He would bend over backwards. He wouldn't even hold a grudge. He was never angry. I never, hardly ever saw your dad angry. Matter of fact, he would clean up. He would try to cheer other people up. I think he asked your sister one time, "Are you having your dot?" She said, "What? Your dot? Are you having your dot?" He said, at the end of the sentence, there's a little dot called a period. "Are you on your dot now?" I think he asked your sister that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was trying to cheer her up. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
remember that story because I thought it was funny. But he always tried to help people. He used to bring fish over to my house.
So I got a question. Why do you feel that you didn't help him on the stand? Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, here's the thing. The DA really was not was not helpful. I'm sorry. The DA was very, very mean to me.
How so?
He actually told me, he asked me some questions and I answered them, and then he whipped out this paper and said, "This is your deposition. Read the highlighted portion." He tried to make it look like I told a different story. I said I used different words, but they're the same meaning. They mean the same thing. I was saying the same thing, but he wanted the jury to get an impression that I was lying on the stand, but I said something different in the definition. And that really upset me because I don't care what anybody says about me as long as they tell the truth.
I know that's right. I have another question for you. The day my father was arrested, do you have any recollection?
Yes. Okay, here's the thing. Friday, let me go back to the Friday night, Saturday morning. I picked him up and took him out to the station. He got back in the car. We went other places. I don't even remember where else we went. One of the places we went was the house where the fire was. I said, "I want to see it." And we walked through the house. The men were actually boarding it up as we were there. And there was a lot of mud because of the fire. I guess water. But I never actually went back to the bedroom. To the living room. I didn't go back that far because it was really just black and gone. But the kitchen looked all right, and the hallway. Because that's all there was, the kitchen and the hallway. So what happened is your dad was going out to the truck to get the gas and oil mixture that he used on the lawnmowers. And he brought that in thinking, "I'll use this to help get the fire started." Okay? What he didn't know is that the whole time he was gone, she was throwing matches in there trying to light it herself. So when he brought the stuff back to put it in there, he was putting it on hot matches. He didn't know that. He said he saw the flames dancing on the wall like the fumes had caught on fire. And he said, "I knew when I saw those flames dancing on the wall that was it." And he chucked it. You know where the wood stove is. He chucked it on the porch.
So how do you know she was throwing matches on there?
I don't know. I don't know how he knew, but he knew.
Okay.
It might be one of them country things where he knew just because that's the only thing that could have made it catch on fire. I don't know. Maybe he saw her. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he saw her put one in, but he didn't think there was a whole lot of them. I don't know. But he definitely said that she was putting hot matches in the fire because she'd throw in a lighted match and it would go out. She'd throw in another one and it would go out. But so that when he brought that stuff in, it was just, he was planning on using a little bit to get the fire started. And I just wanted to slap the shit out of him because I told him, I said, "If it's not vented properly, you should have went and bought a room. If you wanted to be a girl." I said, you know.
You ever known any other people to be at their house?
I don't know. Your dad never said. Your dad never said. He never mentioned anybody's name.
Okay, so the day he got arrested.
Okay, this is Saturday morning where I left off. Okay, Sunday I went and got him and took him to church. And I gave him a tape by a well-known black evangelist that I thought would, be helpful to him. And I didn't see him on Monday. But your dad, okay, he's not guilty in the sense that he didn't do it on purpose. He did, however, feel like his lack of judgment caused the accident. You know what I mean? If he would have never got that stuff off the truck, that accident wouldn't have happened. I think he felt, even though he meant no harm, that he did actually cost somebody their life, and he couldn't get over that. He was very upset. And even though it was a complete accident, like when you make a mistake driving a car, you hit somebody. You didn't mean to hit them. It's not like you were aiming at them, but if you made a mistake and you run over them, it was that kind of thing. His better judgment, his judgment caused him to make decisions that caused the accident to happen. So in that sense, it was his fault. But he's not guilty of murder.
I know, but what happened the day he got arrested?
Well, Monday, to hear your Uncle David told me, and the girl across the street, the convenient girlfriend, I forget what her name. She was the girlfriend when it was convenient for him.
Alice,
yeah. They told me that his blood pressure had gone sky high. They said his blood pressure was so high that you could see veins in his forehead ready to pop. And he was sitting at the table, and I think David fixed some food and put it in front of him, and he just started stabbing it with a fork. He wasn't taking his medicine. He went off the medication, which is definitely the wrong thing to do because he couldn't think clearly. And this thing was eating him up. Oh, I forgot to mention the most important part. Friday night, when the fire happened, they took him to the police station. They took a statement from him